Brian Scalabrine. Brian Scalabrine is one for the book who has one of the most unusual cult followings in the history of the NBA. Scalabrine, who is quite known as the White Mamba, with over 11 years of playtime in the league, 2001 to 2012, is quite known for his charisma and high basketball IQ. He coined his nickname White Mamba while he was with the Bulls, in a way to mimic Kobe Bryant Black Mamba. He is one player who didn't get to rake in a whole lot of numbers when it comes to stats. He was averaging 3.1 points and 2.0 rebounds per game. Despite not having a solid performance and more of a limited role on the court, his popularity grew in a very wild way. His reliability was one thing that connected him fondly with his fans. And during his time with the Boston Celtics, he was a part of the 2008 championship team. Although he was not necessarily a primary contributor to the winning, but fans still celebrated him as a player who had a major impact in the overall standings of the game. The chants of his names didn't stop echoing at arenas. Sometimes the fans came out just to see him. Fast forward to 2013, Scalabrine was able to stamp his legacy when he addressed fans who had earlier claimed they could beat him one-on-one due to his low stats. But in an event that was tagged the Scalunge, he went on to pick 4 top local amateur players and dominated them with a combined score of 44-6. He proved that despite being more of a bench player, he was far closer to being a star player than the average player. His fans love him for his humor as much as they love him for his skill. Allen Iverson, popularly known as The Answer, is one of the key players in the NBA, who went from an elite player to being a cult icon. Unlike majority of players in the league, Iverson represented more than the usual basketball on the court. He was able to incorporate his hip-hop culture into his on-court persona, which gave him that warrior mentality on the court. Iverson came into the league in 1996 and has gone on to become more than a star player in the league. During his peak era, the league was always pushing for a clean image to the public. Iverson, on the other hand, would show up with cornrows, street fashion style, headbands, baggy clothing, and visible tattoos. And whenever he spoke, he carried himself without any single form of compromise. His aura was so on point that it pulled genuine and authentic fans towards him. Despite being a diminutive 6'0" by size and weighing just 165 pounds, he gets to play like he was quite bigger than his size. He would always attack defenders without having hesitation, and still went ahead to lead the league in scoring at 4 different times. The fans connected more with him, based on his playing mentality on the court. Younger fans began to emulate his style, from his arm sleeves to braiding their hairs just to mimic his style. And by 2005, his influence in the game culture made the league introduce a dress code. But his fans loved him for not conforming to the corporate culture system that was imposed. Nick Collison, who was nicknamed as Mr. Thunder, is another NBA quintessential player who happens to be a cult hero to his fans. Despite having modest career averages, Collison is quite revered in Oklahoma City, and his playing jersey number 4 became the first and only jersey number to be retired by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Having been drafted by the Seattle Supersonics in 2003 and stayed with them even through their move to Oklahoma City, where he went on to play his entire career. His fans loved him because he was seen as that player who was ready to do the work even while it was not so pleasing. He was always ready to take charge, dive for the balls when they're on loose ends. He was mostly ending games with bruises and cuts, but he was more concerned about getting the job done. His commitment to the game was second to none. He often built his role around positioning, team play, and defense. In the long run, he had the trust of his teammates, his coach, and even his fans, doing all of these without seeking attention. Kobe Bryant with the Black Mamba is one of the global superstars with a cult following. His fans are notably more than the usual everyday NBA fan connection. It is way deeper. Bryant fans are so connected to him based on his Mamba mentality, which is a philosophy of obsession with excellence and a relentless work ethic even after achieving milestones. And his mentality of the Mamba has gone ahead to win many people on his side, converting them to loyal fans. Over the years, Bryant has gone on to win 5 championships and earn himself the GOAT title, greatest of all time. His fans are not just after the stats, but his guiding idea, his mindset, and mental strength. His early morning workouts and approach to things are strictly studied and emulated by his fans. His fans are so rigid that they follow each of his steps in their everyday lives. In China, the Chinese Basketball Association has decorated him as a cult figure with over 300 million fans in that region. The Black Mamba persona is more than a nickname. It's a character that a lot of people around the world have emulated. Despite his demise, fans still remain steadfast in the Mamba mentality. While Mamba Day is often celebrated on August 24th, his jersey number, fans have also dedicated April 13th to celebrate his last game. Fans around the world get to celebrate his career and legacy. Stephen Curry, popularly known as Chef Curry, Threezus, is another NBA player who commands a global cult following. While there is no doubt he's an undisputed superstar, Curry was able to build his fan base based on his style, undisputed dedication, and the way he was able to revolutionize the basketball culture with his underdog mentality. Measured at 6'2", his ability to have that almost perfect shooting ability gave him the name Threezus, where his fans often see his long-range shooting as spiritual. Unlike other players in the league who often shuffle teams, Curry has spent his 17 years career with the Golden State Warriors, which makes it more of a life bond between himself and Dub Nation. His fans often call him the most humble superstar due to his meek nature and the way he plays on the court with visible joy. Curry's fans often try as much to play like him whenever they get the chance, and even go as far as mimicking his night-night celebration. His jersey is one of the most popular jerseys in the league. Despite being 38, he remains solid on the court and continues to inspire his fans on all grounds. Chris Andersen, who is quite known as Birdman, is one of the culturally distinctive players in the history of the NBA. He was able to build his cult following through his appearance, energy, and his defensive impact in the league. He came into the league in the early 2000s and played across several teams. Birdman was able to stand out as a result of his look. He had lots of tattoos covering his body and his notable hairstyle, which made him easier to recognize. All of these details became his visual identity and his brand persona in the long run, which got the attention of fans on him anytime. His name came as a result of his colorful mohawk and his often wing-flapping gestures after achieving dunks or blocks on the court. He had some notable fans in Miami and Denver who loved and adored him for his grit and grind role during rebounds and shot blocking, which stars in the league often avoid. His passion has made him activate quite a number of fans who are die-hard fans to anything Birdman. Derrick Rose. For every NBA player cult fan, there's always something that draws them and makes them loyal. For Derrick Rose fans, their connection is based on emotions, and they are the most emotionally charged cult following in the history of the league. Rose was drafted into the league in 2008 by the Bulls and somehow became the face of the franchise. In 2011, which happened to be his MVP season, as a native of Chicago, this season made him a local icon, and many connected with him, but emotionally and physically. To many Chicagoans, he was the ideal player to represent what the city stood for in terms of tough love and grit. His followers are tagged Rose Stans, and they are always in a battle of words on how many championships he could have won in the league if he had not torn his ACL during the 2012 playoffs. His fans often see him as that special one who refused to give up despite his limitations. His 50-point game with the Timberwolves in 2018, which was tagged the Holy Grail, stands as a special moment for his fans. Rose's popularity was not just confined within the gates of Chicago nor the US. He was also popular in Asia, which was partly due to his partnership with Adidas. LeBron James is one of the few NBA players who has more of a global empire than a specific cult. His fans are notably called the LeBron Stans, who are so loyal to him and have had to follow him from team to team over the years. LeBron fans are more mobile fans who get to move with him around cities. During the Cleveland to Miami move, fans in their high numbers followed him, and when he moved back to Cleveland and back to Los Angeles, they didn't hesitate to follow him. They were always eager to change colors and pledge loyalty wherever he went. LeBron has one of the most active fans who are always ready to engage and support whatever decisions he goes for. His fans often see him as more than athletic. They often consider him as a person of excellence and responsible. LeBron stans are quite heavy on longevity of stats, and he gives them exclusively that bragging right and ability to blend into any era. Famously known as a GOAT, greatest of all time, his fans do not hesitate to rub it in the face of every other fan base out there. On the other side, the fans are always super active and obsessed with his player empowerment and clutch sports. He reached another level of stardom with fans around the world after the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he was named an MVP and also won the gold medal for Team USA. Despite their undisputed love for him, they do not hesitate to call his bluff sometimes. Tracy McGrady. Despite not fulfilling his potential, McGrady was able to build a solid fan base that is loyal to him. With a height measured at 6'8" and guard skills, he came into the league in 1997. He had the attention of everyone, and as early as the 2000s, He happens to be one of the league's top scorers. He was no doubt unstoppable during this period. McGrady was able to lead the league twice. He was notable for his shot and drive, and his ability to create space. But here comes the twist. Despite his ability and potential injuries derailed him so badly that affected his playtime, which in turn affected his achievements. Despite his prime years being cut off, his fans remained loyal to him. He found it difficult to move on or get his bearings back. But instead of cutting him off, his fans stood up to the little legacy he was able to achieve. It's quite strange that his injuries were also one of the reasons he got more fans in the long run. Vince Carter. Vince Carter, who is also known as Vinsanity, was another player whose skills had a spell bond on viewers. He wasn't just putting on a show when he was at his peak. Carter was playing and giving an epic show that got lots of people entertained. He was able to entertain several eras of the league without boring them. Carter, who is from Canada, inspired his nation, which was a hockey-focused country, to watch basketball on a full-time basis. As time went on, his influence was so glaring that it coined a name called Air Canada, and also brought about a documentary that focused on his effect, the Carter Effect. The documentary had notable stars, like Drake featured on it. One of his most iconic moments on the court was during the 2000 Olympics, where he leaped over Frederick Weiss, who measured at 7 feet 2. That very moment was the genesis of his cult following. That action was so phenomenal that it went on to generate over 3.2 billion social media impressions. But the sad part was when he left Toronto in 2005. This caused him several years of booing from fans, as they considered it a betrayal. He was later on tagged a prodigal son when his jersey number was retired on November 2nd, 2024. But what stood out the most for him was his action during the 2000 Olympics. That action remained one of the most talked about replays in the history of the NBA. He has fans who fall into different age brackets, some young, some old. But one thing unites all, and it is Vince Carter.